Hello, good evening. This is Brother Benson Media, and today is on a Wednesday. Is it Wednesday or Tuesday? Me good Wednesday, right? We are blessed to have this opportunity just to have a conversation, of course, on political matters which have been happening over the week. I want to take this opportunity to welcome all our viewers and once again to remind you that this is Brother Benson Media. If you are new to this channel, kindly like and subscribe. If you do so, it is a way of supporting us and sisi hapa tutasema ni asante. Before we proceed, allow me to also welcome Miguda. Miguda, you can say hi and possibly tell us siku yako imekuwa vipi.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. First, I'll pass my greetings to all our viewers, including you who has hosted me tonight. From my hand, I can just say my evening has been all good. My day has been good as well. I thank God. Only cold where I am, very much cold. We are experiencing a new season, unlike what has happened before. And I can only wish our viewers from the comment section a very good session.
Sauti yako iko chini, sijui ni mimi naisikia my side evil or what exactly? Maybe you can increase your voice then.
I'll try to adjust it. Is it now okay? Am I now clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I was saying first I want to appreciate the fact that you have hosted me, and also I want to appreciate the viewers who have come to the comment section. I just wanted to pass my greetings to each and every person, including you, and also the viewers, and also to report you that my evening has been all good. Where I am, I have a very good time, and I have a very good day today. And actually, I'm only experiencing a change of a season that is cold. We have just experienced summer. Right now, we are experiencing winter. That's all I can tell you from where I am. Anyway, I'm all good. Back to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Allow me to acknowledge the presence of Laban Misiani at the comment section. Thank you so much, Laban, for finding time to join us this evening. We really appreciate. And everyone else who is also watching, we really appreciate. Just a reminder that this is Brother Benson Media. Mr. Miguda, there's a festive festival that has been going on or has been happening over here. I mean, in Luo Nyanza, specifically in Migori County, and this is not the first time that we are seeing Luo events or festivals being held in different countries or in different regions within the Luo Nyanza. And you know very well the kind of significance that all these festivals do have in matters of course, uniting the people of the region, talking about the issues to do with the culture, amongst also redefining or giving a clarification of what really the region stands for in matters of politics. My first question that I would also want you to give your view on is what exactly, if you can give us a brief of what is happening about this Pinlo festival happening in Migori, and you can give us a brief of what it really entails and why it has always been, you know, uh, it has always been held in this particular region.
Okay, first I would like to give thanks to the fact that you have asked me the question. And also, I'd like to state that this is not the first time we are experiencing Pinyiluo festive season. We have experienced many before. This was the fifth one. Remember, there was one which was held, the fourth one was held at Sia County. the last year, remember, chief guest was the Ugandan President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, alongside William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, and the late Raila Amolo Odinga. The third one, I think, was held in Homa Bay County. The second one was held in Kisumu County. I don't know very well where the first one was held, but I think one of the counties. It was progressively, and the intent was to actually allow the community at large to celebrate their cultural, their customs, their identity, their values, because with the current contemporary world, we realize that many people in the community are actually forgetting their culture. It was deliberate by the people who actually started it to enable the current generation and the future generation to actually understand and learn the cultural, the customs, and whatever of the community. Very much important for the preservations. And when you look at the historical sites, like what happened today, the president was at Timlichoinga. Timlichoinga historically is one of the origin homes of the people of Luo community of the southern Nyanza. It's a homestead whereby if you enter into it, you'll find the informal tools, you'll find the traditional setups, including houses and other tools. Primarily, Luos were fishermen. You'll find and even they were farmers. You'll find the tools which were used by then, and also some houses which were constructed at that time. So you find out that it was very much important for a community to also reflect on their culture, their custom, their origin, because we are being told that from the history, we are able to predict the future and the present. That's how the community were doing it. But now William Ruto has been a beneficiary of the cultural celebration. Just like I've informed you earlier that the first one, the fourth one, he was the chief guest alongside Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. And later, when they organized the fifth one, he was also invited as the chief guest. So he has been a beneficiary of the cultural practices. Basically, there are things which were discussed in that cultural practices, the political formation of the community direction going forward, and also you saw the community leadership structure presently who are present there. All the governors, elected members of parliament, I saw even some CS from the community. And luckily, I happened to be around and I was able to understand because I was able even to get exact what was happening. The president was present. You know, currently the president is just next to Migori County. He's the resident of Kilgoris, where he currently is residing. So it's very near. That's why most of the time you seen him going to Migori. He came by around 10 a.m. He was flying with those KF choppers. And even he just left to Kilgoris some 3 hours ago. It is political defining moment for the community because they discuss the future of the community politically with the current administration. They discuss about the unity and how they are going to form alliance. If he was the chief guest last year, then today he was the chief guest. I'm certain that they are going to have more of arrangement going forward. Though there are some things which are said there, political, which are not relevant, but most importantly, it was about cultural celebration, it's about customs and preservation of the identity, and also it has been a norm that each and every year, towards the end of the year, they converge together, they recall and reflect how the culture is. But most importantly, they are usually a guest. Just like I've told you, last year they were blessed to have two guests, two presidents, Kaguta Museveni and William Ruto. Today they were blessed to have one president, William Ruto. That was a community thing, culture, but it is also alongside politics. So I can just say it was good for the people to come together, reflect, recall on how they need to work going forward. Back to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Miguda. Allow me to also welcome our good friend Msimamo. Msimamo, uko vipi? Habari ya leo? Pia unaweza kuja na utuambie maoni yako kuhusu kile ambacho kinaendelea huko Migori, the Luo festival that is going on. And of course, we saw quite a number of leaders. You can give us maybe your version of what you understand about this festival and the impact that it comes with before we get into the political side of it.
Ndugu yangu shwari kabisa host na ndugu yangu hapa, lakini sasa kiukweli sitaki niwe mnafiki, maana kwa kweli sijafuatilia kabisa, ndo mageni mapya haya ndo nasikia sasa hivi. Unajua tena mihangaiko yetu sisi huku kwamba lazima uisake tongo mwenyewe pia una maka. Sasa kwa kweli nilikuwa katika hiyo mihangaiko, ila angalau jioni ikifika watoto wa make na mimi mwenyewe msimamo nami ni make. Kwa kweli sikufuatilia, sitaki kuwa mnafiki. Ndio nimemsikiza huyu ndugu yangu hapa kazungumza yote yale, nikana enjoy hapa na pia nasikia utamu kwa yale ambayo yamejiri kule, kwa sababu hakika kwa kweli sikuwa na taarifa yoyote. So kwa hili swali kwa kweli sina cha kuongeza pale, maana sina ambacho nimeweza kukifuatilia kwa leo kuhusiana na hili. Asante.
Okay, asante sana ndugu yetu Msimamo, pia kwa kupata nafasi kujiunga nasi this evening. We really appreciate. Mr. Miguda, I would like to get your take on what your view is. Oburu Odinga, of course, was crowned as a Luo community leader at the Luo Pin Festival in Migori.
Ndugu yangu mimi tayari sikupati, nilikuwa nawapata vizuri, sasa siwapati tena vizuri, nasikia mnakatakata. Sasa sijui upande wangu, maana nilikuwa nawapata vizuri tangia awali, lakini sasa nashindwa
Miguda,
tena, nasikia
am I clear?
mnakatakata,
Can you
so mambo
confirm
mengine
it?
yananipita.
Mi nakupata vizuri, labda ni kwako
Hebu
msimamo.
wacha
Msimamo, hebu
nitoke
angalia upande wako.
kidogo, enda kupata kidogo, lakini pia bado unakatakata. Pale mwanzo ulikuwa mnawasikia tu vizuri, kisa sasa hivi si.
I think Msimamo, it's on your side. I think you have a network problem on your side because Miguda can hear me clearly and I can as well hear him clearly. So I think you just check on your internet. Probably that might be the problem. Mr. Miguda, I wanted to hear your take on, Oburu Odinga was crowned as the Luo community leader at the Luo Pain Festival in Migori. And, what does that tell you politically? Because the only person who has ever been, of course, crowned as the Luo community leader has always been Raila Amolo Odinga. And the question now, the reason why I'm bringing this to you is, what is the significance, and what again does it mean, having in mind that if you hear the statement that were made during the time that Dr. Buru was being elected or appointed as the party leader of ODM, the statements were very clear that he was a party leader of a political party, but not of a community. But of course, today we saw him being, crowned as a Luo community leader. What does that mean, and what are the differences that we are seeing in this particular crowning, Mr. Migod?
Oburu Odinga being crowned the Luo leader. This is not the first time. At his age, Oburu Odinga has been crowned several times as a Luo elders in various occasions or ceremonies. But you find out that each and every time when Luos gather together, purposely for the cultural celebration like what happened today, always they usually crown people, the elders. Even Ruto was crowned. Even last year, Museveni was crowned. Raila was crowned. This has been a norm whereby they do crown the elderly people, particularly the people who are in the leadership, on the political leadership, as the community elders. There's nothing wrong by crowning him elder, because at his age he is an elder, and even he's one of the elders, and he can even be permitted to sit in the council of elders. So him being coronated as the low cultural elder, it is quite very much in order, and there is nothing wrong about it because age, experience, exposure, capacity is the right now is the party leader for the ODM. And when he hosted the current president William Ruto, they were crowned alongside. You saw Ruto with that headgear and that fly whisk and that animal skin. The one he was wearing animal skin, headgear, fly whisk. Those are only those are only outfits permitted to be weared by elders. Even Ima Kubura, you can't put on those things at your age. Even me, I can't put them. Even if you are a billionaire and you want to be a governor or MP, you cannot be granted fly whisk, animal skin, headgear, plus the stool. It can only happen in
Increase your
circumstances
voice,
whereby
Mr. Miguna.
it can only happen in circumstances whereby you can find out that sometimes maybe your father's passed away and you're the elder person. They want to allow you to inherit your father's, like what happened to Raila Odinga Jr. But mostly it is elders who is being crowned such things. So that was part of the cultural activities, cultural practice. Oburu is an elder, and let Oburu enjoy what elders enjoy. Makobura, we shall wait for our time until we become elders. By God's grace, that's when we'll enjoy those things. So you saw the president also having a headgear, fly wings, and the animal skin. That explains to you that actually it was more of a cultural celebration, not political. But of course, they are politicians. You cannot deny them an opportunity to express themselves as politicians. They have to express themselves anyhow because they are part and parcel of the politics of this country. And that's why people like Oburu had to play politics. You and the only thing I dislike about what happened politically, more so the Luo leaders, people like James Agri Orengo, the senior council, people like Oburu Odinga, they are taking the community back to the old ages, the politics which were played 40 years ago. That's where Babu Owino is always getting it right because Orengo cannot come out and start singing for us the issue of Mijingo. The issue of Mijingo was started long time ago before we were conceived. There have been to date we are still seeing about Mijingo and nothing has been resolved. So to me, these politics of Mijingo this, Mijingo that, all the Mijingo people, those are all politics. We should always now allow the new blood or new generation, new thoughts, new ideas to actually carry out the order of the day. This issue of each and every time when we gather, people talk about Mijingo, people talked about Jaramogi said this, people talked about 1982 coup. Those are now not necessarily. We should always preach about, we have talked about many times about human rights, basic rights, fundamental freedoms, but this is high time that we should change our conversation and actually converse about the issue of economic empowerment. What we are saying, how do we transform this country economically? How do we transform our people? How do we ensure that pesa mfukoni is in the people's pocket? How do we ensure that right now we are getting the economical freedom, economical rights? That's why the conversation should be vested. This conversation, which has been there from ages, human rights, basic rights, fundamental freedoms, free speech, free expression, those things are now, we are sick and tired of those old narratives. Like young generation, we don't want to hear those things because right now we are post basic rights of every freedom. We are talking about economic freedoms, the economy of the country. How are we going to transform this country economically? So I can just say Orengo and Oburu, it's high time also you change your thoughts. We are not each and every time going to the street, human rights, basic rights, freedoms. Discuss about the economy of the Luo nation. Discuss about the economical freedom, economical rights How are we going to get our economy right as a country? We talk about the issue of public finance and management. That's the politics which will change as young people. This politics of old guys. How will you differentiate between me and Raila, between me and Orengo, if I keep on singing those politics they sang? We should have a different way of ensuring that we bring our economy back by also, like me, it's now boring. Each and every time I attend those rallies, it's about human rights, it's about Museveni, and Museveni is not retiring anytime soon. So I think Makobura, other than appreciate the fact that we have elders, elders also should ensure that they align themselves with the contemporary world and also align themselves with the current changes in the society so that we can have a very, very adaptable society for us who are currently living and our people to come in future and for the posterity. That's why we need those things like what we call structural conversation as a community. Because as we are going right now, I can say that things are not going on because we are stuck to the tradition. We are stuck to the past. So we are not making any progress. So that's the challenge we are having. So we appreciate the installation of the elders, but as we install them as elders, they should also give way to a new idea, new thoughts, not only the community, but also to the Kenyan at large. It should be spread across the country so that the president cannot take advantage of manipulating the entire generation with the first world country, the way he manipulated the entire generation previously with the economic bottom-up economic model. Now he want to take advantage of this first world country because of the kind of the nature of the politics we are playing. So I think we should rectify on what we are doing as a country, as a young people, so that we can have a very progressive and adaptable system, even if you cannot get over all of it, but you can also get a progressive one. So we should make progress. Like I've told you, if I was in attendance and they keep on singing Mijingo, it's now boring to me. I need to understand about employment of our youths. Even though most of youths are employed or a section of them, but the people who are not employed, we should always advocate, even us if you are employed, but we should always ensure that the people who are not employed, they should get the permanent jobs, not these temporary jobs like affordable housings. The people who are concerned affordable houses, they're just temporarily after affordable houses. What next? We need permanent jobs. And also, it's a matter of universal health coverage, universal for everybody. If me, I can afford SHA or I can afford private insurance, what about the person who cannot afford? What's the government doing about it? If I can afford a LIM education, what about the person who cannot afford? So that we should be true to ourselves because we are serving the public. And that's the way public want to be served. This issue or this nonsensical issue based, whereby we are being told where we came from, what happened by then when we were not there, but no one is interested to discuss the real issue, the economy of the country. They're just telling you, oh, you came from this side, you are the people who came from the, oh, you are. So I think Makobura, that's the way we should. I also try to engage the elderly people, that even though it's very important to learn our history and how our people have struggled, have suffered, but also we should reconsider to look on how we can empower the younger generation because we are the future. If you don't empower us, you're gonna get a mess country.
Okay, thank you so much. Allow me to welcome our good friend Goodyear. Thank you so much, Goodyear, for finding time to join us this evening. We really appreciate. And I can see Goodyear is saying human rights is not a bad thing. You can support it. It's neither boring nor rewarding. And yeah, that's Gypsy Corner's take. But again, I think the politics that has always been played by majority of lower leaders are one, of course, that is siding with the human rights, and that is why majority. of times, if you hear what the president was talking about, that the Nyanza region or the Luo Nyanza region has always been neglected, being the reason being that they've been on the position side, and the many times they've been on the position side, the leaders have always championed for the rights of the human rights. And something else is that they've always uh, you know uh, majority of people coming from these areas have always been secluded in terms of development and such kind of things. And the president was very particular, and he did mention, I was actually reading something that he wrote in his Facebook platform, and he tried to partly address all these kind of issues. So thank you so much good year for your take. And good year, kuna mambo ingine pia tulifaa kuongelea behind the scene. I will find time and engage you on that as well. I can see Miguda pia leo amefurahi. Anafanya kitu inaitwa ananing'oange to the sides, on the sides. It seems that things are nice today in that part of world where he is. Not forgetting, I think the next thing that I wanted you, Miguda, to give your take on is, Raila did. Raila was a long-standing, played a role of being a lower political figurehead, not for decades, for many years. And part of what Raila used to do is, of course, bringing people together, especially people from this community, by calling up or coming up with this kind of events which are going to bring a community together. And out of that, he got a full support of the community, whereby in his political plans, he always had the opportunity to to consult the community, and he would get the full support of the community. The question that I'm asking you today, Miguda, is, being that Raila is no more, and of course we have Dr. Oburu as being now the Luo leader currently. Truth be told, of course, he is the party leader of ODM, the senior most politician, based on the fact that he is the one, of course, that is currently starring the ODM team. The question I'd want you to, to give your opinion on is: do you think the Pinluo festival thing and the community, a united community, is it going to prosper? Are we going to see this in the coming days, or it was happening based on the fact that Raila had the opportunity to always bring that community together? Something else that you can give us your view on, Mr. Miguda, is we saw the president, and whenever these events are held, we've always seen chief guest. We've always seen last year, like you mentioned, the president of Uganda was in Kenya. And I remember during that day, even Raila spoke about the laws in other countries, and specifically the laws in Uganda. And if you remember very well, the president of Uganda also requested that similar things should be extended to the other side. And apparently, if you've been following up, the laws of Uganda did invite Raila, and he was supposed to be there. Was it was it happening on Tuesday or Monday, if I'm not wrong? And then Raila, of course, is no more. He had to be represented by the governor of Kisumu, who attended that particular event together with her wife. And if you read his Facebook platform, he did clarify that he was there courtesy of the invitation of the Luos of Uganda. And something else that he did spoke about is that they had invited Raila, and Raila was supposed to be the chief guest. And currently, he is no more, and he had to, go there as the chief guest. The question I'm asking you is: are we still going to see a united community that will be brought together by such kind of events going forward? You can give us your take on that. And the presence of the president in this particular event, politically, is it a political? I mean, what does it mean politically? Is the president seeking for the assistance or political assistance of this particular community, or what exactly is he doing? Because after all this, we saw him, you know, working in other, I mean, going to different places, launching projects. What does this mean? The issue of Migingo that you also raised, Mr. Miguda, it has been raised. It was raised last year. The president did speak about it. He is the president, the commander. You know, he is a good friend to the president of Uganda. Do you think it is necessary for him to discuss this particular issue before the people, or it is a smart way of, you know, ignoring his roles, Mr. Miguda?
Well, first, you have asked me the issue of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, the late. When Raila was alive, Raila was very active when it comes to the structure of leadership in the local community. First, Raila could assemble the Council of Elders who were headed by the CARE, and CARE could organize through Council of Elders to communicate the same language to the elders. Then Raila could use things like Pinyiluo cultural celebrations and also the party of ODM as a Luo party to bring Luos together to unite behind it. I can just tell you Raila Odinga was one. You cannot be Raila, no one be Raila, and Raila, no one can organize his political structure the way Raila used to do. That is that time. Raila was never Jaramogi. Jaramogi did his part very well. He went. Raila did very well. Raila went. Hopefully, we are going to have a new leader sometime, some years, some days, but not now. These current leaders are just trying to do what we call copy pasting. But who unto you who is copying the other person? Because all of us are born unique in a different way. You should appreciate yourself and also chart your way. You should not always try to be like somebody or try to do things which somebody did before. You know, we might lose an important figure in society because if you could be yourself, maybe you could be the next big thing we people never expected. So we always tell the young people that try to be yourself, try always to make your own path, because we have been crying that no one can hold our hands. These old people, old guards. We as young people will fight for ourselves, we'll fight for our space. We are going to fight for our space because some of them also fought for their space. So it's up to each and every person to fight for his space. So once we have fight for our space, we can now incorporate these new ideas, these new thoughts to accommodate the future generation. I believe that the absence of Raila Odinga was felt because people never turn out in large number. I remember I told you last year there were many people. Today there were lesser people. Ruto came around 10 a.m. Like I told you, I saw him flying and also flying back to Kilgoris. People actually were not in large numbers. That's why I'm telling you that things have changed drastically. But the community is united with some purpose. What unites community is beyond politics. If you go to music, the so-called Ohangla, currently, the community are united behind Ohangla artists, and one of them popularly known as Prince Inda. If you go to marketplaces, if you bought a bus, if you go to restaurant, if you go to play pool table, wherever you are, people are busy passing time with the current songs of Prince Inda. So one of the things that unite people are music. Right now, politically, people are divided. There's sharp division. There are people who are not interested with William Ruto. Like even today, the two friends I was hanging out with have told me openly that it is only broad-based government without Ruto, but with Ruto, it is not broad-based government. So if, in the company of 5 people, 3 are pro broad-based government, but 2 are anti. That's the reality, and all of them are Luos. So this issue of telling people that the people are united, people are sharply divided. And if, from my experience, I don't know from your experience, you know, we experience things differently. So what you experience is not what I experience, and what I know is not what you know. So from my experience, what I've gauged the ground, there's sharp division. And also, there's going to be voter apathy. Many people are done with politics because they said they have buried their frontline commander. And once the frontline commander is gone, the army is no longer active because the command center is no longer working. And they have bid by to politics until further notice. For 2027, they have said no. So there are going to be voter apathy. People are sharply divided. The presence of William Ruto was not that significant. The only thing is that Ruto came to confirm whether they are still intact, the previous government. He went to confirm, and you understand, he's doing a lot of businesses, or he's having some business in that region. You know that the final one was done at Nyatike. Nyatike, we have gold. There's gold in Nyatike. You know, their company A, B, C is there. So maybe he went there to inspect his businesses and also to meet his friends. He's a busy man, so when he find out time, he can go and also look for something. But also, you know that if you have asked me about the issue of the Luo community, Migingo, proposal by the former president of Uganda, the current president of Uganda, Museveni, about the issue of Uganda Luo. Not only Uganda, remember, they also talked about the Congo. And that's very interesting. You understand that at one
Mr.
point,
Miguda, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. You can't hear me?
Kindly
Should I
proceed. I
proceed?
think it was. Yeah,
It was
proceed.
me, I can hear you. Me, I'm very much
I
okay.
lost
So
power.
actually, I'm saying that the people of Uganda, the Luo of Uganda, Congo, South Sudan, Tanzania, Kenya are one. Because you understand where we met, the so-called Khartoum. And if I tell you Khartoum, you understand Khartoum, that's where people met. Remember, initially, Luos came from Dogman, that is between Lake Baringo and Lake Turkana. They moved towards the northern part of the Africa. And when they reach Cairo, Egypt, the Egyptian blocked them from going upward because you understand they feared that people could interfere with the River Nile. Now they were captured in captivity jointly with the Israelites. So from there, that's why in low community you find that even when Raila was buried with the fly whisk and cape. People were asking, why do you bury somebody with his properties? Egyptians used to bury their pharaoh with the properties. So that is one of the culture they borrowed from the Egyptian. So when you saw them with them burying Raila with their cape and fly wicks, they borrowed that culture from the Egyptians. So when the freedom came, when Moses came, when the Luos also escaped and came back to South Sudan, where I told you Khartoum, where people met, that's where we have the Lango now, the Kalenjins and the Luo, the so-called cousins, what Gachagua has been preaching. Then from Khartoum now, there is a great grandfather by the name Sinakuru Kuklubanga. Makubura, I'll give you this history, then I'll just leave. So when the Luos went to Uganda, you find there's Jopadola, Acholi, Aluo there. There is where I wanted to give the information, which Museveni said. At Uganda, they had one leader by the name Jalamogi. So Jalamogi is called Jaramogi. So it is Ajuang who actually led the Luo from Uganda to go to Ramogi. So what happened? There were some beads which were ate by a certain person, but it was not possible to remove the beads from the stomach. Now they had to go and visit a seer who actually told them that get someone by the name of Juang, because once you impregnate a woman and you die before that woman give birth, that person will be named Ajuang or Ojuang. So when that happened, Ajuang now, Jaramogi, Ajuang, Nikwaramogi Ajuang, led the Luo to the Gotramogi, where they settled. So the descendants left in Uganda. That's what Museveni was saying. It should be remembered. When they settled at Gotramogi, That's now you find people like Jaramogi Ajwang, Jaramogi Odinga, and it bring you to, I think, 1951, 52. He was the first care of Luo. Now they 51, because he was joining politics in 1952, he dropped that care. Now he became political leader. To the second care was the ASIO. ASIO was the second care, and it comes up to now. You know, right now you can recall there was currently we have the Odungiranda. Before Odungiranda, there was before there was someone then carried Yagogalo. Otondi then Ogalo. So what am I trying to say? Museveni was saying that we should come together and connect what happened at Uganda and connect what happened at South Sudan, Khartoum, so that we can connect. And the reason why they are cousins at Khartoum here, Khartoum, there was a woman who gave birth to twins. One was named, that's where the Kalenjins are coming, and the Luos. That's why they are called cousins to us. That's now detail. We'll find another day, we'll discuss it. But what I was trying to say is that Museveni was proposing that, of course, Museveni is really Luo, but he was saying that the cultural celebration should be expanded to Uganda, Tanzania, Congo, South Sudan, because though there are traces of Luos with the similar cultural practices, so that it can bring the unity, purposely even East African unity for a purpose. And lastly, the issue of chief guest. It is very important to invite any guest so that it look like more of a cultural celebration. At the same time, it look very significant. More so when in attendance is the President of the Republic of Kenya. So that's now I want to bring this issue. My final statement that the issue of diversity, cultural practices, which has been recognized in our constitution. That's why we say that Gashago is doing exactly what is the constitution, and that's what laws are doing at the same time. That's exactly what should be done, because the diversity, cultural celebration, appreciation of one another, one accord as a people, one indivisible Kenya comes later after we have organized our houses. Marco, back to you. And I think,
Okay, thank you so much, Miguda. Maybe before you leave, I'll give a clarification of what exactly was happening and what it all mean. Maybe I'll just give you a chance to give your view on the postmortem report that was carried out, and the result of that was given. Remember the death of Cyrus Jirongo, so you can give us your take on that, and also, one of the Supreme judges also died, Judge Ibrahim. You can give us what that is going to mean in the field of judiciary, and you know very well what the position that he held, and the entirety of what his death would mean, and how it would even affect part of the judicial processes. Good. You can you hear me? I don't know whether it's the problem is on my side or his side. But before it comes, I would like to just give a brief of what really was happening in Migori, and the event of Luo. It's called the Pini Luo Cultural Festival. It was taking place in Migori County. It started, of course. It started on date 14th, if I'm not wrong. Uh, it started on date 14th, and up to date, I mean, today it was still on. The purpose for this is, of course, is to celebrate the low heritage, unity, culture, while, of course, promoting the economic empowerment and social transformation The theme this time round was honoring the heritage and uniting the generations, of course, bridging the traditional values with the modern creativity and entrepreneurship. The participant of this particular festival, you know, were the politicians, of course, who are always the ones on the forefront, and then we have the cultural custodians. Those are the leaders of the community. We have the scholars. Those are the learned people, the professors who are coming from the Luo or from the community. And then, of course, we had the public gathered, the public, that is now the citizens, the people from these particular regions. And this time around, the venue for this cultural festival was held in Rongo University and partly Thimlich Ohinga Historical Site, one of the historical sites in Migori. And we saw a coronation of Oburu Oginga, which of course happened today. Oburu Oginga is currently the elder brother of the late Raila Amolo Odinga. He was officially installed as the leader of the Luo community, having in mind that Raila has held this position and until his demise, he was still the Luo leader. So Buru has taken over, was given the this particular role officially. The ceremony, of course, was conducted by the spirit. I mean, the leaders of the community, the so-called care, and the people gathering. You know, the question that would then come is, what does this signify, or what's the meaning of this particular coronation? And I can say that Oburu Oginga was like now inheriting the role that Raila used to play, or the mantle, and of course pledging to lead with integrity, as he had said, and of course with unity as well, uniting the entire community, all those people who have different political views. I mean, all kind of different views. He has now the power. I mean, he has to now struggle to unite them and bring them together, and they should also have, of course, a purpose that is marking the continuity of the Luo political and the cultural leader. We saw the president was also in attendance, and uh, while not him was not actually being coronated, but in the traditional sense, we have always seen leaders being recognized. Last year, we saw the president of Uganda being recognized, and there was this question that came up, people asking whether he was being coronated as a Luo member, or what exactly did they mean by that particular coronation. So I can say that it is always a way of recognizing leaders and welcoming them to the by the Luo as the guest of honor. So that is what happened last year to the president of Uganda, and of course that is what happened to the president William Samoei Ruto as well. And we saw a commitment by the president pledging support for building a cultural site at this particular Thimlich Ohinga. Of course, the president did spoke about, he told the people that culture helps to plan for the future by consolidating the history, and just giving a view of what the history or where people have come from. And again, the other question that somebody would ask is, what was the meaning of, what was the role, or why was the president over here? And I can say that his participation was just a gesture of reconciliation and unity between the local community and the national government. And this has always been, uh, this has always been the norm that we've always seen here in the Republic of Kenya. So, what does all this mean? I can say that for the community, Oburu's coronation, of course, ensures leadership continuity after the death of Raila, and it also assured that he has now taken over and that Luos are progressing, meaning they currently have a leader until henceforth. It also reinforces, of course, the cultural identity, positioning the Luo traditions as the central to the community development, something that Luos really take with high regard. But for the national government, for the national politics, somebody would also ask that why didn't we not see the opposition leaders? Why did we just see the president who is currently in government? But I can say that Ruto's presence over here was a signal bridging political divides. Remember the differences that Raila supporters or Raila himself had politically with uh, with the with the president, being that they all ran for this particular seat for presidency. So it was just bridging the political divide between his administration and the low community, historically aligned with Raila. It also reflects a strategic gesture of inclusivity, showing respect for culture and institution. So, what again does this mean for Kenya's future? The event or this whole thing, it has to, of course, has a meaning, and it also has to, if I can say, beneficial. And if I say beneficial uh, would then mean that what are the impacts or what are the nice things that it might help the people of Kenya with. On my side, I can say this festival is partly highlighting that culture can be used as a pillar of unity, because we've always seen that these particular events have always united the Luo community, not just those living within Kenya, but also those living in other countries. It is also a symbol of, it also highlights the economic growth where people, you know, reflects where they've come. I can also say that the coronations and the symbolic honor demonstrate the blending of traditional authority with the modern political way of governing. I wish Meguda was here to answer this question that has been directed to him. Let me wait and see if he's coming back. But I'll just give my view on the same. Yeah. So as I was saying, um, there has to be a significance of this particular events, and Luos have always valued these particular events, and they've always been used as a way of uniting the people. Something else that I wanted to give my view on is, of course, we saw uh, we saw what happened in we gave we saw what happened in the briefing that happened. If you all remember the death of Seras Jirongo, who has been a political, who has always been a politician here in the Republic of Kenya, and some few days he lost his life on via. He got an accident and he died. And today we got the reports, and the reports were saying that because of the accident that he got, he did get serious fractures, and out of that, he died. But of course, the questions are still many. People are still asking questions. It is, I think, what we can do is to wait and see the finality of all those particular comments which are coming from the people. Something else is we saw one of the judges, the supreme judges, Judge Ibrahim, also died. And if Miguda comes here next time, he'll give us his view on what exactly it means in terms of losing a judge. Remember, there are always seven, and if one of course dies, then that means that the number decreases. And again, the other day I heard that the deputy chief justice would be retiring as well soon, so that would mean that by 2027 maybe we'll not have the required number of judges. But again, I think the constitution gives a clarity on what is supposed to be done next. Yeah, so those are some of the things that we've been talking or giving our views on today. And I want to take this opportunity to say a big thank you to everyone who joined us today, particularly Good Year. Thank you so much for finding time to be with us. Thank you so much for, finding time to be with us. We really appreciate. And allow me to also acknowledge and say a big thank you to Laban Misiani. Laban Misiani has been here with us, and he was giving us his views. As usual, he maintained his two-term narrative. Yeah, so that is something that is well known to him. Yeah, so there's a question here from Goodyear. He's asking what killed the judge. According to the judiciary, the judge passed away while battling illness on Wednesday, that is today. He died at the Aga Khan Hospital in Nairobi, where he was receiving treatment at around 4:30 p.m. That is when he died. So Mohammed was receiving treatment after returning from India, where he had been admitted. Yeah, so that is all that we have now. And yeah, maybe more explanation on that is according to the reports, the judge who was due to proceed on terminal leave ahead of his mandatory retirement on January 1st, 2026, died on Wednesday afternoon. He had he had a distinguished 23-year judicial career marked by institutional reforms, jurisprudential leadership, and a legacy of advancing access to justice. Yeah, so those are just some of the information that I'm getting, and go. I wouldn't really go much into that. Maybe something else that I can give my take on based on the reports. Based on the reports, is the death of Seras Kirongo. The reports that came out is that he died from blunt force trauma, and that caused severe internal crush injuries. These injuries were sustained, of course, during the road accident which happened in Naivasha. So the specific injuries identified by the government pathologist, that is Dr. Johansen Odur, and a family pathologist, said that he had multiple rib fractures, perforation of the heart, and rupture of the major blood cells. Vessels, extensive bleeding in both the chest and abdominal, crash injuries to the liver. All these, according to the reports, are what killed Seras Kirong. But of course, there are so many people who are still saying that they need to know or they need to understand how Seras Girongo traveled. Those are some of the things that have not been given clarity on up to now. And ours is to wait and see because there is a relevant department that is currently dealing with that. Yeah, so I think I'll just have to end now, just because I'm not seeing Miguda coming back. But again, I want to take this opportunity to say a big thank you. Thank you so much, Good Dear. Thank you, Laban. Thank you, Msimamo, and everyone who joined us. Not forgetting There's also Mike. Mike also joined. We really appreciate your presence and you finding time to be with us. Yeah, Goodyear is saying, fractures. CJ got some beatings. I'm not buying. Bring out the CCTV. Yeah, so currently I think some CCTVs that we've seen is just at the petrol station where he came, but of course they are not all very clear enough. From the CCTV, we see that of course he came to the petrol station, but he didn't actually fuel. He just parked there for some few minutes, and then he left again. And that immediately was leaving. That is when the accident occurred or happened. So that is some of the question that people are asking is what exactly did he do at this particular point where he parked for some few minutes. So there's much that is still being asked, but of course there is a relevant authority doing their investigations. We will wait and see, or we will wait and hear from them. Yes, I think I'll have to stop at that particular point. Once again, this is Brother Benson Media, and over here we say that your opinion counts. We really appreciate your presence, we really appreciate your support, we really appreciate your time as well. We don't take it for granted. We appreciate. If you are watching for the first time, kindly like and subscribe. If you do so, it is a way of supporting us. Na sisi hapa tutasema ni asante. Not forgetting, we are almost getting to next week. Of course, next week for the Christians, so those who believe in Christianity, they'll be celebrating the birth of Christ. The birth of Christ, it should be next week if I'm not wrong. And I want to take this opportunity to to just wish all our viewers Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. We appreciate you as we wait for the birth of Christ. We pray that may Christ be born in your hearts, and that the good things that Christ are going to be born with might also be extended to you and to your family members. That is what we are saying over here. And now I would want to take this opportunity to I don't know whether a good friend here would be able to Msimamo, habari ya jioni. Kindly give us your take if you can hear me. Msimamo? Unanisikiza?
Yeah.
Okay, karibu sana. Labda tumezungumza na nilikuwa na karibu kufunga. Labda unaweza tupea maoni yako on kile ambacho umeona leo ama juzi, something that you'd want to share with us. You can just give your view before we call it a day.
Ni
Msimamo?
mengi sasa, labda tungeulize kuhusu nini, labda hapo. Yes, unanipata?
Nakusikiza. Unajua leo tulikuwa tunazungumzia kuhusu
Unanipata?
Nakusikiza. Nasema leo tulikuwa tunazungumza kuhusu the coronation and the presence of the president, but you said that you didn't really follow that. Na sasa mimi nakupea nafasi utupe maoni yako kuhusu hiyo, ama kama hauna habari bado unaweza tukumbusha kile ambacho uliona na unaweza taka tuzungumzie ama tupeane maoni yetu.
Unajua kwa kweli sitaki kuwa mnafiki kama nilivyotangulia kusema kwamba sikusikiza swa hiyo event imekuwa huko aswa hiyo ya kitamaduni, na kumbe rais alikuwa kule, sikuangalia vizuri reaction zake kwa sababu nilikuwa busy aswa but kile ambacho nimekifuatilia labda pengine masuala na postmortem ya mwenda zake na masuala mazima ya kuhusiana kifo cha mwenda zake Jirongo, kidogo hapo ndo nimejipesa jicho nione kwamba haswa nadhani madaktari wamezungumza yale ambao wamezungumza kuhusiana postmortem, na wenyewe familia wamesema ni step 1. So sitaki kuingilia zaidi kwa sababu bado mambo yako kwa DCI. Wacha tuone angalau kama majibu ya maswali yataweza kupatikana, kwa sababu inatisha sometimes unajua. Inatisha na tamausha, inaleta maswali ambayo yanakinzana, so maybe wakitoa majibu ambayo yatamfanya Mkenya awe swafi na aelewe nini kilijiri, basi hamna shida. Hilo tu ndilo kubwa ambalo nimeweza kulifuatilia zaidi haswa kwa leo, ili haswa kuondoana kile kizungumkuti ambacho kipo. So nikawa niko keen kusikiza hapa jioni kuona kwamba wamesemaje haswa wale madaktari ambao wanahusiana na masuala na upasuaji, ili tupate kuelewa kilichojiri. Na wao wamezungumza wazi kwamba ni masuala na ajali, tena ajali ambayo ni mwingiano wa magari ambayo hayati kiongozi huyu aliingiliwa vizuri. Lakini pia kuna ile kubwa zaidi la CCTV ambayo imeweza kutoka pia kuashiria kile ambacho kilijiri. So unaona kila kukicha kunazidi kutokea mambo mapya. Mwisho wa siku nadhani tutabata kile ambacho kilijiri, ili kuondokana haswa na yale mashaka ambayo labda yameganda katika nyoyo zetu, yanakosa majibu. Maybe tutaweza kupata majibu yenye tija. Labda hilo ndo langu ambalo naweza nikazungumza, not only kama kuna lingine ambalo utaweza kuniuliza nijibu na nitimke. Asante. Sio kama upo
Sawa,
na
asante sana,
unanipata.
Na nimekusikiza, asante sana. Rafiki yetu Gudi hapa anasema I like listening to your great Kiswahili. Na sisi hata mimi pia hapa it's a good moment for me because I'm learning some nice Kiswahili, na hayo yote tunashukuru. Asante sana kwa kupata nafasi kujiunga nasi basi hivi jioni. Tunashukuru sana ndugu yetu Msimamo. Labda tupe maoni yako ya mwisho kabla tutamatishe basi.
Asante. Kwanza maoni yangu ni haya swa kwa ndugu zetu wale wanatusikiza, lakini vile vile kwa Wakenya wenzangu kama mimi. Inafika wakati ambao tunafaa kama jamii moja ya Wakenya kurudi drawing board na kuwa kitu kimoja. Hatima ya hili taifa liko mikononi mwetu sisi wenyewe kama wananchi, lakini tutategemea ni wapi tutaelekea. Kama tutaruhusu kugawiwa kikabila, tumeisha. Kama tutaruhusu kuwapa haswa wanasiasa kuwasikiliza badala wao wasitusikilize sisi ambao ndio matajiri wao, basi itakuwa halina tija, bali tu kuendeleza pale ambapo tupo. Lakini maoni yangu ni kwamba turudi drawing board, tuhakikishe kwamba ikifika 2027 Mungu anapojalia, basi tuwe tumejipanga kuhakikisha kwamba tunafanya yanayofaa kwa ajili ya hili taifa, lakini si kwa ajili ya hili taifa tu, bali kwa ajili ya vizazi ambavyo vinakuja, kwa kuweza kuwachagua viongozi walio bora na kuacha wale ambao ni bora viongozi. Hilo nafikiri ndio kubwa zaidi. Kwa hiyo utangamano wa taifa kwa muda huu unahitajika zaidi, na pia kubwa zaidi ni ng'ombe tu kwamba vyombo vyetu vya vyombo vyetu pia vya dini vile visingilie sana siasa, vibaki kustika katika la Mungu. Haya masuala ya kupewa minyoti haswa ambayo haitendi mamilioni, ilhali kuna watu kule mashinani ambao akenda msimamo inakuwa ngumu. Sasa hivi wamemaka masikukuu na pia wamemaka jinsi gani ambavyo wataweza kuwapeleka watoto shule ifikapo Januari. Basi inakuwa hakuna haki hapo, sawa. Inakuwa ni mwenye mbavu mpishe, na taifa la mwenye mbavu mpishe, kumbuka la wachache wafaidi, wengi waumie. Kwa hiyo tusigawiwe kimakabila, tusigawiwe kimatabaka wala kingome, haitatusaidia. Shida ile ambayo iko Kwale ndio shida ambayo inampata yule yuko Nyanza. Shida ambayo inampata kule alio Mandera ndio ile shida inampata alioko Taita Taveta huko. So for real shida zetu kama wananchi ni moja. Tukipata huduma safi kwenye hospitali tunasema sawa. Tukiona kwamba uchumi unaweza kuimarika, hela tukizunguka kidogo tunazitia mbavuni, pia unaona mambo yanakuwa poa. Tukiona kwamba pia rasilimali za nchi zipata kulindwa vizuri kwa minajili ya taifa, basi tunaona kwamba hakika hapa ndipo. Lakini pia tunataka taifa la viwanda, unaona, na mwisho wa siku haswa vijana wa vizazi vipya ni wakati haswa ambao na waari haswa waingie katika hili jambo hili la kuweza kuchukua na nyadhifa za uongozi, hili kusiachwe mtu nje. Lakini na wale ambao wapo wasifanye wasiofaa kwa kuweza kung'ang'ana katika mamlaka, wawape Wakenya uhuru, ili haswa ikifika wakati ule wa kufanya chaguzi wafanye kile ambacho wanaona ni sahihi kwa ajili ya manufaa ya taifa na kwa ajili ya manufaa ya yule mwananchi ambaye ndio mwajiri haswa. Lakini lisiwe taifa la mwajiriwa ndiye ambaye anapanga mezani, lakini mwajiri hana lake. Mimi ndio langu nitakalofunga nalo jamani. Asanteni kwa leo.
Asante sana ndugu yetu Msimamo, kwa maoni yako hayo mazuri sana, tunashukuru. Na sasa tutamaliza tu hivi sasa. Nacha nichukue fursa hii tena ni shukuru wale ambao walijiunga na sisi leo hii. Tunashukuru sana mashabiki wetu wakiwemo Goodyear, Laban Misiani na wengine. Tunawahenzi na tunawapenda. Vilevile acha ni shukuru Mike, thank you so much for also finding time. Tunashukuru wakati wako, na I want to take now this opportunity to just wish you all a blessed evening, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed night, wherever you're watching us from. We really appreciate. And if you are watching us for the first time, this is Brother Benson Media, and over here we do say that your opinion counts. Kindly like and subscribe to this channel. If you do so, it is a way of supporting us. Na sisi hapa tutasema ni asante. I want to take this opportunity to wish you all the best, and may God bless you. See you again tomorrow.